It was a scary experience because it was almost as if my body was dead whilst my brain was fully alive and functioning. That was actually the source of inspiration for Vital, the idea that the consciousness can survive in a lifeless body. That is of course an extract from the Tom Mes book Iron Man, the Cinema of Shinya Tsukamoto. It's strange to see how this journey led Shinya Tsukamoto to make what I believe to be one of his most spiritual films ever. So today join me on this journey while we explore one of his, in my opinion, best films ever made, Shinya Tsukamoto's Vital. If you like what I do here, like, comment and subscribe, and let's get on with the video, guys. Body memory. There's a hypothesis in medicine called body memory. This is the idea that beyond the brain, the body itself can have the capacity to store memories. In most cases, this is believed to be the result of trauma, but of course there is no explicit evidence to say that the body truly can store memories. However, the idea of muscle memory, or trained reactions, seems to imply that there could be some form of memory stored inside the body. Patients with PTSD often have behaviours they can't control. Their body can react involuntarily to trauma triggers, as though the body itself is remembering something. For Shinya Tsukamoto, this idea of body memory is the crux to his entire narrative, as he asks the question, what if the body can remember things even when the mind is dead? Before we go down this analytic rabbit hole, let's see what the film's actually about. Well, Vital from 2004, directed by Shinya Tsukamoto, follows Hiroshi Takagi, a medical student who suffers from amnesia after a devastating car accident. The crash claims the life of his girlfriend, Ryoko, and leaves Hiroshi struggling to piece together his past. As he returns to medical school and begins anatomy classes, he is assigned to dissect a female body, unaware that it's Ryoko. As Hiroshi delves deeper into the dissection, he begins to experience vivid flashbacks and dreams of his relationship with Ryoko, slowly reimagining memories of their time together. These visions blur the line between reality and memory, guiding him through his unresolved grief and emotional disconnection. The act of dissecting Ryoko's body becomes a symbolic journey of self-discovery, where Hiroshi confronts his trauma, his relationship with death, and the emotional wounds left by the accident. So as well as the story that I mentioned at the start, Shinya Tsukamoto had a lot of other influences that went into this film. After having that injury, he went on a journey of self-discovery, one that led him to a university to have a look at a dissection in real life. After witnessing it, he spoke to the professor to ask them if they knew what actually happens to the body after it's dead, and where the soul resides. They obviously had no answer for that question, and this led Shinya Tsukamoto to truly delve into the idea of what would become Vital. Interestingly, Shinya Tsukamoto approaches the themes of the film by presenting the two circumstances. Hiroshi represents someone with a living body, but without their memory they appear lifeless, almost as though they have no conscience. The choice to use Asano as the main lead reflects this perfectly. Tsukamoto highlighted that the performance needed to be a subtle one. The character almost needed to act as a blank slate, and Asano is often renowned for his subtle low-key performances, which perfectly lends itself to the character of Hiroshi. As a result, Hiroshi feels at times as lifeless as the very corpse he is dissecting. As a result, his mind is almost dead, yet his body is alive, leaving him lifeless, like an empty vessel. The second circumstance Tsukamoto presents is a lifeless body with a living consciousness. Ryoko is just as unable to communicate as Hiroshi, yet as Hiroshi dissects the body further and further, we unravel the memories of the body, and in turn, his own body. He almost acts as her translator. What's interesting is the fact that Hiroshi is able to step beyond the world of the living into dreamlike sequences as he unravels his memories, somewhat implying that a disconnect between body and soul is what allows us to step beyond the physical. In the interview on the Blu-ray, Tsukamoto mentions how he feels that when individuals lose their will to live, they seem to be able to live in both a dream world and the real world simultaneously. It's in this dream world that Hiroshi learns to reconnect with his body. The clinical aspect of the hospital is often contrasted against these memories. Here the bodies go from still to dancing. Ryoko, trapped in her body, expresses the emotions with movements in these moments. In many ways, she moves more than Hiroshi. An often still character, Hiroshi's movements lie in his mind. We can't see into his thoughts, but he presents a sense of absence when he is on screen, as though he's exploring his mind more than the reality of the real world. This contrast between the two only strengthens the contrast of circumstances. Presenting a body with no mind and a mind with no body makes us question, where does the soul truly live? In many ways, Ryoko seems to have a stronger sense of self than Hiroshi, but just no way to communicate it. Her body memories make her human, whilst Hiroshi seems lost. As a result, Tsukamoto seems to imply that the mind and the body is something we ultimately do not understand. In many ways, when the body stands still, it's free to move, and when the mind is blank, it's free to think. In contrast to his earlier films where characters rush around and the camera moves aggressively to navigate the growing pressure, stress and frantic nature of modern Japan, Vital takes a step back. Often referring to modern life as a virtual existence, one that strips us away of our more primitive bodily functions, Tsukamoto uses Vital as a vehicle for exploration, one that goes far deeper into what it means to be human than the more emotional and often physical explorations of his earlier films. In Vital, the film truly ponders what it means to be alive, what it means to be dead, and what happens when we no longer are alive, nor when we're no longer truly dead. The film ponders what lies beyond the third dimension and our physical bodies. The film stands now as an incredible piece of filmmaking, one that never ventures into sensationalism, one that never shows the body as a thing of disgust, one that never sexualizes the body, nor does it venture into the realm of horror or shock. It instead chooses to find the beauty in the mind and the body. The drawings feel like a puzzle, a journey of exploration, presenting the body as complex as machinery. Vitals, in many regards, is Tsukamoto's most underrated film, and possibly his most spiritual, yet one that has no clear thesis, and ultimately leaves us with more questions than answers. With the light being shone on Vital once again with the third window release coming out, I'm interested to see what everyone thinks about this, what I believe to be a lesser known Shinya Tsukamoto film that a lot of people don't talk about as much. So if you do have some thoughts and opinions on the film, I'd love to hear them. Leave them down in the comments below. And once again guys, I will see you guys on the next one, and I can't wait. See you guys next time.